Chosen one, stop scrolling. For the next few moments, I need you to remove every distraction. Go somewhere quiet, close the door. Sit alone, because this message is not for everyone. This message is not for the crowd. It is not for those who are comfortable. It is not for those who are asleep spiritually. This message is for the one who has cried in silence, the one who has carried invisible battles, the one who feels different, the one who feels separated, the one who keeps asking God, "Why does my life feel so different?" Listen carefully. If these words found you today, it is not by accident. Nothing about this moment is random. God does not waste moments. God does not waste pain. God does not waste tears. And He is not wasting yours. Hear this clearly. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. The betrayal, the rejection, the loneliness, the heartbreak, the confusion, the waiting, the silence, the battles, none of it was meaningless. God is saying, I was building something inside of you that could not be built any other way. For years you have wondered why your path looked different from everyone else's. You watched others fit in while you felt out of place. You watched others succeed while you struggled. You watched others celebrate while you fought silent battles. And sometimes it felt unfair. Sometimes it felt like God forgot you. Sometimes it felt like heaven had gone silent. But hear this clearly. God was never absent, not for one moment, not for 1 second. Every lonely night, every tear that fell, every prayer whispered into the darkness, every moment you felt forgotten, God was there, watching, protecting, guiding, preparing. Because before God elevates someone publicly, He often develops them privately. Before purpose comes process, before victory comes endurance, before elevation comes isolation. Chosen one, your loneliness was never the punishment. Your loneliness was the preparation. The enemy wanted you to believe you were abandoned. God was teaching you dependence. Dependence on Him, not on people, not on approval, not on validation, not on popularity, on Him alone. Because the level God is taking you to requires a faith that does not depend on circumstances, a faith that survives silence, a faith that survives rejection, a faith that survives delay, a faith that survives heartbreak, a faith that survives storms. Listen carefully. The enemy does not attack empty people. The enemy attacks purpose. The enemy attacks destiny. The enemy attacks calling. The very intensity of the warfare around your life is evidence that there is something valuable inside of you. Think about everything you have survived, the disappointments, the betrayals, the setbacks, the spiritual battles, the nights you almost gave up, the days you questioned everything. You should have broken, you should have quit, you should have surrendered, yet somehow you are still here, still breathing, still believing, still praying, still standing. That is not coincidence. That is God's hand on your life. Hear this clearly. The fact that you survived is proof that your purpose survived. The fact that you are still moving forward is proof that God is not finished with you. The enemy wanted to end your story. God decided to continue it. The enemy wanted your pain to destroy you. God is using it to strengthen you. The enemy wanted your wounds to define you. God is turning those wounds into wisdom. Listen carefully. Some people left because they were never assigned to your future. Some relationships ended because they could not go where God is taking you. Some doors closed because God was protecting you. Some opportunities disappeared because they were distractions. And some heartbreaks were actually divine protection at the time you cried, at the time you questioned, at the time you felt devastated. But now God is revealing the truth. He removed what could not enter your next season. Hear this clearly. You have cried over things God was saving you from. You have mourned things that were never meant to stay. You have chased answers when God was providing direction. And now heaven is inviting you to trust Him more deeply than ever before. Because something is changing. Something is shifting. Something is moving in the spirit. You can feel it. You can sense it. The atmosphere around your life is changing. The heaviness is lifting. The confusion is breaking. The awakening is beginning. God is saying, the season that almost destroyed you is becoming the season that reveals who you really are. Listen carefully. The strongest version of you is being born, not because life was easy, because it was difficult, not because the road was smooth, because it was painful, not because you avoided suffering, because you endured it. And endurance creates strength. Strength creates wisdom. Wisdom creates discernment, and discernment protects destiny. Chosen one, there were seasons when God seemed silent, seasons when prayers felt unanswered, seasons when nothing appeared to move, and those seasons tested your faith. Because silence often feels like absence, but hear this clearly. Silence is not absence. God works in places where human eyes cannot see. Think about a seed. When it is planted underground, nobody sees the process. Nobody sees the roots growing. Nobody sees the development. Nobody sees the preparation, yet growth is happening. The foundation is forming. The breakthrough is developing beneath the surface. And then one day, what was hidden becomes visible. Chosen one, you have been in a hidden season, but hidden does not mean forgotten. Hidden means protected. Hid means preserved. Hid means prepared. God has been protecting your future while preparing your spirit. And now the signs are beginning to appear. You are not who you used to be. The things that once controlled you no longer have the same power. The people who once hurt you no longer have the same influence. The fears that once dominated your mind are losing their grip. The chains are breaking. The old mindset is fading. The old identity is disappearing. That is transformation. That is growth. That is evidence that God is working. Hear this clearly. Breakthrough does not begin when circumstances change. Breakthrough begins when God changes you. And that is exactly what He has been doing. He has been refining you, strengthening you, developing you, preparing you, transforming you. Because the next season requires a stronger version of you. The next season requires wisdom. The next season requires maturity. The next season requires faith. And God has been building all of it inside you. Listen carefully. Not everyone will celebrate your transformation. Not everyone will understand your growth. Not everyone will support your calling. Some people preferred the old version of you, the insecure version, the doubting version, the smaller version. But God did not create you to stay small. God did not create you to stay hidden forever. God did not create you to live beneath your calling. You were created for purpose. You were created for impact. You were created for destiny. And destiny requires growth. Hear this clearly. As God elevates you, He is increasing your discernment. Because not everyone who smiles at you supports you. Not everyone who applauds you believes in you. Not everyone who walks beside you is assigned to your future. Guard your spirit. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Protect your relationship with God, because where God is taking you, clarity matters, wisdom matters, discernment matters, faith matters. Chosen one, the enemy is terrified of who you are becoming, not who you were, who you are becoming. because every battle you survived made you stronger. Every storm you endured made you wiser. Every heartbreak deepened your compassion. Every disappointment strengthened your faith. Every lonely season brought you closer to God. And now the person emerging from the fire is not the same person who entered it. You have changed, you have grown, you have awakened, you have been transformed. Listen carefully. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. This is the chapter where fear loses its authority. This is the chapter where faith rises higher than doubt. This is the chapter where purpose becomes clearer. This is the chapter where healing becomes visible. This is the chapter where God reveals why you survived everything that tried to destroy you. Hear this clearly. Do not quit now. Do not give up now. Do not lose faith now. You have come too far. You have endured too much. You have survived too many battles. The breakthrough is closer than you think. God is saying, hold on a little longer. Trust me a little deeper. Believe me a little stronger. Because what I promised has not been cancelled. What I started will be completed. What I planted will grow. What I prepared will be revealed. What I called will fulfill its purpose. Chosen one. The season of preparation is giving way to the season of revelation. The season of endurance is giving way to the season of reward. The season of hidden growth is giving way to the season of visible fruit. Keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting, keep standing, even when you do not understand, even when you cannot see the full picture, even when the waiting feels long, because heaven has not forgotten your name, God has not forgotten your prayers, God has not forgotten your tears, and God has not forgotten his promises. The breakthrough is coming, the purpose is unfolding, the transformation is happening, the victory is approaching. Chosen one, there is something you need to hear right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, because heaven has been watching your struggle. God has been watching your tears. God has been watching every silent battle you have fought behind closed doors. And today he is saying, I know. I know the pain you never told anyone about. I know the disappointment you carry in your heart. I know the prayers you prayed that seemed to go unanswered. I know the nights when you stared at the ceiling, wondering if things would ever change. I know the moments when you felt completely alone. Listen carefully. The world sees your smile. God sees your scars. The world sees your strength. God sees the battles required to create that strength. The world sees the person you are today. God sees the person you are becoming. And that person is far more powerful than you realize. Hear this clearly. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. You are not delayed. You are being prepared. The enemy wants you to believe that nothing is happening, but God is working in places you cannot see. Even now, especially now, chosen one. There are blessings that cannot arrive until your spirit is ready to carry them. There are doors that cannot open until your character is strong enough to walk through them. There are assignments that cannot begin until your faith becomes greater than your fear. That is why this season has felt so intense. God has been strengthening foundations, because what he is building in your life is meant to last. A weak foundation cannot carry a great calling. A weak spirit cannot carry a heavy assignment. A weak faith cannot survive a powerful destiny. So God has been building you from the inside out, piece by piece, prayer by prayer, battle by battle, tear by tear. Listen carefully. Some of the greatest miracles begin with what feels like the greatest confusion. Think about it. Before dawn comes darkness, Before breakthrough comes pressure. Before victory comes warfare. Before resurrection comes a cross, the pattern has always been the same. And that means the pressure you feel today may be evidence that something powerful is approaching. Hear this clearly. The enemy attacks hardest when he senses movement, when he senses growth, when he senses awakening, when he senses purpose. That is why old fears have tried to return. That is why old doubts have tried to whisper in your ear. That is why discouragement has tried to settle over your mind, because darkness recognizes what is coming even before you do. But God is saying, do not be intimidated by the battle. The battle is not proof of defeat. The battle is proof that something valuable is worth fighting for. Chosen one, you have survived every attack so far. Think about that. Every storm, every betrayal, every disappointment, every setback, every season that felt impossible. You survived. Not because you were lucky, because God carried you. There were moments when you thought you were holding on to Him. The truth is, He was holding on to you. When your strength ran out, His strength remained. When your faith became weak, His faithfulness remained. When your vision became cloudy, His plan remained unchanged. Hear this clearly. God has not changed His mind about you. The calling is still there. The purpose is still there. The promise is still there. The destiny is still there. Even if the journey has been difficult, even if the waiting has been painful, even if the process has been longer than expected, God's promise did not expire because the road became hard. Listen carefully. The next chapter of your life requires courage, not fear, faith, not doubt, obedience, not hesitation. Because God is preparing you to step into territory you have never walked before. New opportunities, new growth, new wisdom, new favor, new strength. But before those things arrive, there is one thing you must release. The past, release the guilt, release the regret, release the mistakes, release the disappointment, release the people who walked away. Release the version of yourself that no longer exists. Because you cannot step fully into tomorrow while carrying yesterday on your shoulders. God is saying, what is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you. Chosen one, your story is still being written. The chapter you are in right now is not the final chapter. It is simply a transition, a preparation season, a refining season, a strengthening season, and soon what God has been doing in secret will become visible, the growth, the healing, the wisdom, the strength, the favor, the purpose. People will see the result, but only you and God will know the process. Only you and God will know how many nights you cried, how many battles you fought, how many times you wanted to quit but kept moving forward. And when that day comes, you will understand something powerful. Every tear mattered. Every prayer mattered. Every act of faith mattered. Every moment of endurance mattered. Because God was using all of it to prepare a chosen one. And that chosen one is you. So keep believing, keep praying, keep trusting, keep moving forward. The breakthrough is closer than it appears. And one day soon, you will look back on every battle, every tear, every lonely night, every disappointment, and every season of waiting. And you will finally understand God was there the entire time, guiding you, protecting you, strengthening you, preparing you, leading you, because you were never abandoned. You were chosen, you were called, you were prepared, and you were destined for